My Superman fans, tomorrow cannot come soon enough. We just got ourselves a teaser trailer for the teaser trailer for James Gunn's Superman movie. They are really trying to build up this hype train, and tomorrow we'll find out if it was all worth it or maybe they should have tamed our expectations. But it's not just this 30-second teaser trailer finally giving us our actual first footage of Superman. We also got journalists who were actually invited to the set of Superman and got told a lot of information about this movie. I'm going to be running through that all here, but I want to know from you guys, what did you think of this first little teaser trailer? Do you think it's overdoing it, giving us a teaser trailer for a teaser trailer, as well as what you make of some of these details? But okay, starting things off here with this teaser trailer, it's really short, only 30 seconds long, but it is our first actual look at Superman, and that's the thing a lot of us have been wanting to see. Although tomorrow we'll get a full-length trailer that is actually set to be completely different footage from this teaser trailer, already showing you the amount of marketing that is probably going to go into this movie. What we saw right here isn't the beginning of tomorrow's trailer. This was actually just solely made to tease you for the newer, different footage we will see tomorrow. And the reason we know that is because, remember, on Monday they held a press event where journalists got to see the first trailer already, and well, there really hasn't even been any major leaks or articles about what this trailer is, so I wonder what the point of that press event was, because I'm only really seeing people pop out photos of David Cornsweet and Rachel Bronson together there. I guess we'll find out tomorrow after the trailer. Probably James Gunn revealed them more stuff. So with this now being our first impression of the movie, overall, very happy with it. We are going to talk about what some fans are complaining, and I'm not just talking about the ones that were going to hate this movie either way. There are people I know who are excited for this movie that are voicing some of their concerns. But this little 30-second teaser trailer really plays more into the tagline of the movie, Look Up, where we see civilians and people who are important in Clark Kent / Superman's life. Just to name a few of these people: Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Steve Lombard, Cat Grant, looking up at Superman. Now, we got to talk about this Daily Planet because I am loving that they actually gave us the globe. We have had multiple Daily Planets, some pretty creative, others that I thought were a little lacking, and this, I think, satisfies from what I wanted. Just really that globe on top of the building. Iconic pieces like this in the DC universe is what I'm really hoping for out of the James Gunn world. Those quick little shots we get of David Cornsweet as Superman, I'm eating them up, especially with the details they revealed about this movie. Because James Gunn revealed that he used mini drones and took inspiration from films like Top Gun Maverick to get the Superman flying scenes feeling different. And I mean, if his Superman flying scenes are anything like what Adam Warlock's scenes were in the Guardian movie, then yeah, I'm looking forward to those scenes. Now, if we want to move over to some of the complaints or things that fans are concerned about with this first look, a lot of the talk comes to the color grading and style of the movie. Now, this is from the same cinematographer that worked on The Flash, Henry Brom, and people have pointed a lot of similarities with the look of this movie and The Flash. I've seen multiple people say it looks a little cheap or that it reminds them of a CW show. It's the typical complaints I think we get with a lot of superhero movies nowadays, but I don't know. To me personally, I'm liking the look of the movie. I think it's very clear that they're trying to make all the vibrant colors of the movie pop while still having other things be sharp and dark. And that's going to come real in handy whenever we see David Cornsweet's Superman in this environment, because he has a very colorful, vibrant costume, and so he's going to look like the light in a world filled with darkness. Literally what they're trying to portray with this version of Superman.
It's a story about humanity, about what it means to be a hero in a world that doesn't always make it easy to be one.
To me, I'm just happy they're not going with that dull gray color that some movies sometimes deal with. I was always a little disappointed the Superman suit wasn't as bright and colorful as it should have been in some of the Zack Snyder movies. So this is actually a style and feel I could be very happy with. But man, this is only the 30-second trailer, and those type of comments were everywhere. I am not ready for whatever people are going to complain about tomorrow with the full full trailer. When getting on to some specific details that got revealed in articles about this movie that we're finding out for the first time, is one, we actually learned that the movie will kick off with Superman in action. Here they say, "We start in the middle of action," Gunn said. "Superman already exists. Lois and Clark already know each other. Lex hates Superman's guts from the beginning, although they don't know each other personally, so we start right in the middle of action." And that seems like the right way to go with this movie. Is don't waste most of your movie building up one of the most iconic origin stories there is. Just throw us right into a fully living DCU with tons of superheroes. And well, speaking of those other superheroes, I'm going to be curious tomorrow of how much screen time they get in the trailer. From the moment Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho got announced for Superman, I was skeptical about how their stories would fit, and would this feel less like a standalone Superman movie and like a mini little pre-Justice League, rushing things kind of the same way their old universe started. But James Gunn does say that there'll be supporting characters, not cameos, and really only one of them is vital to the plot, with "I love Mr. Terrific," Gunn said. "These characters all get their moment in the sun. They all have their moments. They're not just cameos. These are characters. They're a supporting cast, but Mr. Terrific is the main character of those characters. He actually has a big part of the plot, and so that was fun." If we're getting on to other things that were making people skeptical or wonder if James Gunn was right for this movie, is if he was going to follow the same formula he has been doing with Guardians and the Suicide Squad, where we actually get the reveal that no, this movie is taking a different approach where it's going to be a lot more serious than those two movies. He said exactly, "I start with a place that's very hopeful, fun, and incredibly serious all at the same time. It's humorous, but it's certainly not as comedic as the Suicide Squad or Guardians. There's plenty of humor in it. People like Rachel are so funny, and David Cornsweet is very funny as well, so there's humor in it, but it's trying to create something that is grounded, but is also an incredibly fanciful world. It's fantasy. It's taking other things like Game of Thrones, where it's the universe where superheroes actually exist. What are they like? There's a magic there that's undeniable." And that's also what I really love to hear, that this is going to be probably his most serious movie that he has done. It's going to have his signature comedic style that does make me laugh, but overall he's going for that perfect mix of grounded with the fantastical fantasy side of the DCU. On that same note, he also mentions in the article that this movie is going to be more score driven, which is something that we've been hearing a lot from the first poster to even this teaser trailer. Those little hums of the John Murphy score that we're probably going to get a lot more of in the trailer tomorrow, that is going to be the main driving force of the movie. Score instead of soundtrack, which has been a big thing in Guardians and the Suicide Squad. Even Creature Commandos has those James Gunn moments where you get a fun action scene and then you get a great song to pair along with that. Operated boy, all the other real ones that... Here, it's going to be less of that. There's still going to be some of those moments, but it's more going to be about the score. There have been some people saying that there's a bit of a guitar theme in this movie, giving it a feel of like punk rock Superman. I'm down for that, depending on how that sounds. I think a guitar Superman theme could actually be really cool, but we'll get to hear that tomorrow, so we'll see what that sounds like. Another big thing that actually made me so happy, because you guys know I have been on the side of red trunks, and I was shocked to find out James Gunn was actually anti-trunks. He reveals that it was actually actor David Cornsweet who convinced James Gunn to put those red trunks on Superman. He said exactly, "We were trying on all different versions and we screen tested with trunks and no trunks. And one of the things David said is that Superman wants kids to not be afraid of him. He's an alien. He's got these incredible powers. He's got beams out of his eyes. He's this incredibly powerful, could be considered scary individual, and he wants people to like him. He wants to be a symbol of hope and positivity. So he dresses like a professional wrestler. He dresses in a way that makes him unafraid of him." And man, if I couldn't love David Cornsweet anymore, that statement just won me over. Although the marketing has really been hiding the red trunks thus far. Not talking about set photos or what you've seen leaked online. No, I'm talking about the official promo material, which is the first look at Superman and the poster and even this teaser trailer. they are not letting you know this guy is floating around in his red tighty whitey. But I just think that's an iconic part of the look. It works well. And even that explanation that it's almost like a professional wrestler who, yeah, they wear underwear like things. And that's just the thing Superman uses to get other people to just be less afraid of him. I love that. Now, other details that I actually found kind of interesting is the setup or the things that are going to lead to future stuff in the DCU. James Gunn makes it very clear he does not want to feel like this movie is just building to the next movie. He wants this movie to stand on its own 2 feet while putting little seeds and teases for the future. In fact, he mentions some of the teases might be cut from the film. Starting off, he says here, are seeds being planted? Yes, there's seeds being planted, but that is never going to be the predominant thing in any scene for me. It's always about getting to the next scene. What's in the moment? How are we making this movie the best we can be? And it's going to stay like that as much as I can possibly make it like that. The article continues on, Gunn confirmed that the events of Superman will impact Peacemaker Season 2 and that maybe there will be one or two things at the end of this film teasing towards the future, but admit they may get cut. Honestly, I'm kind of voting on the side that Superman shouldn't have post-credit scenes. I think the DCU should stand apart and stop being the thing that teases future stuff, because we've already gotten a couple of DC movies with post-credit scenes that are leading absolutely nowhere. How about we just stop this trend and just go back to focusing on the movies themselves being the thing that gets you excited, so that when the next movie comes out, you're more going, hey, last couple DC movies were great, so I'm thinking this one will be great. I'm going to watch it. Because I think that's how we got to a point where we're wondering if a Superman movie is going to flop, because there's been so many movies that have been released from DC that just made the audience feel like it's not worth spending your money to go see a DC movie. We're seeing this trend literally happen with the Sony spin-off universe, where they were making relatively good money in the beginning, but after bad movie, weird choice, post-credit scenes that went nowhere, you have a universe that is now dead and in need of a reboot. And well, last thing I want to talk about before we actually get to James Gunn being honest about what happens if this movie flops is why he made the title change from Superman Legacy to just Superman. He said here, I thought maybe the title had a looking back feel about it, and this isn't about looking back. This is about looking forward. So although when you see the movie, you'll understand where Legacy comes from, because it's about Clark and his relationship to his Kryptonian parents and his relationship to his human parents, and whose legacy is he really? And so it's about that, but I think as a title, it felt too looking back. And yeah, I think losing Legacy from the title was one of the better decisions, because I never loved the title Superman Legacy. While Superman itself is a little too simple, I am fine with it, and I do like the idea that this Superman will be kind of wrestling with his Kryptonian and human heritage. But now James Gunn is being completely honest with us about how this movie is so important to the future of DC Studios, and if this thing doesn't do well, it's the end. They say here, when we spoke with Gunn on set of Superman a year from release, he was pretty overwhelmed for a lot of reasons. I'm miserable, he said. Really, I'm miserable, but hopefully it's for the greater good. A lot is riding on Superman, he said. I mean, we're not going to just keep making movies, that is, unless Superman is great. And I think that really comes down to it. Superman doesn't have to make $1 billion. I think it has to at least turn some sort of profit, but the most important thing about this movie is that it's received well, not just by critics, but by general audiences. That is going to determine the livelihood of the DCU. And it is kind of nice to hear James Gunn just say he's miserable. He's sad. He knows there's pressure. Because I don't know, sometimes seeing him online just responding to every other fan makes me sometimes think, are you taking this seriously? There's a lot riding on this, man. How are you not curled up in the fetal position at home? Because I think that's where I would be with this much pressure. But it's a little refreshing to hear, yeah, it's a pressure. I'm miserable. But I'm hoping this is all worth it in the end. And well, we'll get a first sneak peek of whether it's worth it or not tomorrow with the full trailer. But I throw it off to you guys. What did you think of that first little teaser footage? Some of these details that have been revealed, what you're most hoping to see out of that trailer, anything and everything. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.